It's November 2022. The Football World Cup's taken place at an unheard of time of year because of the harsh, inhospitable climate of a host country without any history or culture of football, but with an unenviable record of human rights abuses and corruption scandals. So in protest, Scotland didn't qualify. It's a far cry from the historic roots where international football began. If you're interested in the people, places and events in Scottish history, then click the subscribe button at the bottom right of the screen. In the meantime, let me tell you a story. This is West of Scotland Cricket Ground in Partick in Glasgow. It's not somewhere that you'd normally associate with football. Partick, I mean. But this is where the world's first ever international football match took place. Or did it? Once I've told you about the historic match played here between Scotland and England on St Andrew's Day 1872, then I'm going to tell you why it might not have been the first ever international game and give you some alternatives. Now, according to football's world body FIFA, the ones who agreed to hold the World Cup in Qatar, the first international match was played here. They were very different times back then. Association football, or soccer, had only just branched out from rugby football, rugger, 9 years before that. They weren't as different from each other as they are now, although the first international rugby match had been played between the same two nations in Edinburgh the year before that. Naturally enough, Scotland won, 1-0. Like the match played here, 4,000 people went to watch that first rugby football match. Association football came about because a football association had been formed in London in 1863. It was done to agree a standard set of rules. You see, before that, games would be played between two schools or two clubs, and the captains would meet at the start of the game to agree what were the rules that they were going to play. How many players in each team, how big the pitch, throw-ins, carrying the ball, do two shots carry? I think that's pool. Football evolved in different ways in different places because different folks chose other rules. But this particular association brought together their unified set of rules. Like, you dribbled the ball with your feet rather than ran with it in your hands. You were allowed to kick an opponent in the... No, you weren't allowed to kick an opponent in the shins. That's the start of the slippery slope. There was no crossbar above the goalpost, but a rope. Players could still catch a high ball to gain a free kick, like taking the mark in rugby. When the ball crossed the touchline, it was the team who got to it first who won the throw-in. And throw-ins had to be at right angles to the touchline, like in rugby. There was no fixed goalkeeper, so no need for a different jersey. There was no measured penalty box to identify where the goalkeeper could touch the ball with his hands. There was no such thing as penalties. So watching England wasn't nearly as entertaining as it became with later international tournaments. Some innovations had only recently come in, like corner kicks and referees. Before that, it was assumed that there would be no need for referees as players were gentlemen and would honestly own up if they ever broke the rules. One of the key rules, of course, was the offside rule. The difficulty understanding this rule being the main reason that women's football never took off. I did an episode on the suffragettes, you know. The original offside law of association football was simple. All passes had to be done either sideways or backwards, like rugby. Anyway, a guy called Charles Alcock, the secretary of this recently formed football association, issued a challenge to Scotland. Now, I might have said English Football Association, but don't forget, the Football Association didn't hold sway all over England. It was a south of England thing. It wasn't the English Football Association. It was just the Football Association, and there wasn't one in Scotland. So I assume when Alcock issued this challenge, he just came up to the border and shouted, "Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough," in a generally northerly direction. Well, somebody in Glasgow heard this, and you know what the Ouija's are like. No challenge goes unmet. Neither it did. I met up with John Thompson from West of Scotland Cricket Club to talk about the game here. Now these days, Queen's Park is a small and until very recently still amateur club on the other side of the Clyde. But back then, they were the top dogs. To this day, Queen's Park are still the third most successful team in the Scottish Cup after Rangers and Celtic, even though the last time they won it was 1893. They must have heard Alcock shouting at the border and said, "Well, we'll take on the English. Aye, that's right, send up your best. We'll take you on with our club side." You see, it was one of their players who selected the Scottish team. And every one of the Scottish team played for Queen's Park. Even then, they had to negotiate about how many players were going to be in each side. Remember, this was the Wild West. Rules had still to be negotiated. What was agreed was that on St Andrew's Day, 1872, the first international match would take place a year before the Scottish Football Association was created. Yeah, and this was where the first ever official soccer international was played.
Absolutely. I mean, if that's a real bit of history for West.
Yeah.
But what's also very interesting is this is arguably the only club or ground in the UK that's hosted 4 international sports.
4?
4. You've had the football that we've mentioned. There was 4 rugby internationals in the early 1900s. There was a hockey international in 1914, and of course Scottish cricket played 58 internationals here over a long period of time, the last one of which was 2003.
That's incredible. So it's quite a heritage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're so proud of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
Yeah.
So there you go. 4,000 people paid a shilling a head to come here and watch a 0-0 draw, and everyone thought it was a roaring success. Still like watching Scotland today. Now, to discuss whether this was really the first international, let me take you to where Scotland play their home games today. As I do, let me just say that Scotland History Tours will be playing away from home in Australia and New Zealand in 2023. If you live down under, then I'll be bringing my show Stories of Scotland to fringe festivals in Perth, Western Australia, Adelaide, Dunedin, hopefully Melbourne, and if you want me to come to your town, let me know in the comment section below. We'll maybe even play a bit of Aussie rules. I'll be touring live shows in Scotland when I come back as well, so keep an eye on my website. You'll find that at www.brucefumey.co.uk for details of all this stuff. I'll leave a link to my shows down under in the comments below. What was your favourite ever football match? Let me know in the comments section. I'm going to go for St Johnstone against Dundee United in the Scottish Cup final on the 17th of May 2014. For practical reasons, the game was played at Celtic Park, although it should have been played here at Hampden Park. Today, it's the home of Scottish football, but it was the home of Queen's Park Football Club, who played that game against England. But was that game I described really the first international match? You see, standing at Gretna and shouting in 1872 wasn't the first time that Charles Alcock had issued a challenge to the Scots. He'd issued a challenge in the newspapers a couple of years before, which led to 5, that's right, 5 Scotland v England games before that one at West of Scotland's cricket ground. These games aren't recognised by FIFA, although I'm sure for some oil money in a brown envelope. I'll be honest, those games caused a bit of upset here in Scotland as well. They were all held in London under the auspices of this Southern Football Association. And the Scottish team was filled with players who might not be perceived as Scottish, but had Scottish roots. That's when the hair's dyed blonde, but you can still see the wee ginger bits coming out. Frank McAvenny. In fact, the players who played in the first of these 5 games were largely from the London area. The first ever Scotland 11 consisted of James Kirkpatrick, born in Ontario, Canada, Arthur Kinnaird, born in Hyde Park Gardens, London, William Gladstone MP, son of the Prime Minister, born in Hawarden Castle, Wales, Robert Crawford, born in Elizabeth Castle, Jersey, Charles Bailey Hamilton, born in Greenwich in Kent. His brother, William Bailey Hamilton, born in Brighton. William Lindsay, born in Benares, India. Wingfield Malcolm MP, born in London. Kenneth Muir Mackenzie, born in Perthshire. Yay, one of us! George Gordon, born in Kensington, London. And Alexander Morton, born in Paddington, London. So you see, there may have been 5 first internationals before the first recognised international, although you might consider them Diddy internationals. But for an older game still, I want to take you to Stirling. This is the inner courtyard in Stirling Castle, and I'm going to take you to the Argyll and Sutherland Highlander Museum, and I'm going to show you the oldest football medal in the world ever. This is exciting. Now, here's a treat for you, because in here is the world's oldest football medal, which was awarded in 1851. I thought that would have been locked. Fantastic, right? Look at this, absolutely marvellous, right? This was played for by the 93rd Regiment, the Argyll, well, it wasn't the Argyll and Sutherlands at that time, it was just the Sutherlands at that time, against Edinburgh University football team. And this is the oldest football medal ever in the world. This was played for long before the Football Association was ever thought of, before the offside rule was ever written down, before any of that crazy nonsense about not being able to kick people in the shins. In fact, the newspaper report of the day talked about the wonderful spirit of camaraderie that the game was played in. A wonderful gentlemanly spirit. They actually, just like Scotland and England, played 5 games, but over the period of a day. Not only camaraderie, but I would have thought exhaustion as well. Now, on the medal, we're going to get the medal out and let you see. And on the medal, you have this wonderful inscription in commemoration of a match played between the 93rd Regiment and the Edinburgh University Football Club, gained by the former 25th of January 1851. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that fantastic? Now, I've got one more thing to show you, but to show you that, I need to take you down the hill. Come with me. This is the Smith Museum in Stirling. Having seen the world's oldest football medal, we've come down the hill to see the world's oldest football. And here it is. This football was discovered up the hill in Stirling Castle, where we've just come from. When they were renovating the castle as part of the transformation from the barracks of the Argyll and Southern Highlanders to the wonderful tourist attraction it is today, behind the panelling of the Queen's Chamber, which had been decorated in the 1540s incidentally, they found this ball. So this must have been lying there since at least 2 years before the birth of Mary, Queen of Scots. Isn't that incredible? This lay behind the decorations and tapestry as Mary was taken there as a child to avoid the clutches of her great uncle Henry VIII. As an adult, she recorded a game of football in her diary. That wasn't in Stirling Castle. In fact, that was when she was a prisoner of Elizabeth of England in Carlisle Castle. Not only did Mary watch the game, but it was her who started it by throwing the ball down from the castle walls to the players below. Those players were made up of her attendants. Half are Scottish attendants on one side and the other half are French attendants on the other. So the first ever international football match was in fact between Scotland and France in the north of England in 1568. And the first person to take a throw in at an international game was Mary, Queen of Scots. If you think different, then let me know in the comment section below. And of course, tell me, what was your favourite ever football match? If you want to know more on Scottish sport or the time that Mary set off that football game in Carlisle, I've got a really good video coming up on screen now. If you've enjoyed this one and you would like to support the channel, then please become a Patreon member by clicking the link up there or buy us a coffee in the description below. In the meantime, Hammy and Dawkins, Goombi Lam Ali, Sherry and Rasta.